Tradition and Mission, Building for Another Century at Christ Episcopal Church. Christ Episcopal Church in Charlottesville, Virginia, a church dedicated to forming Christians to serve Christ in the world. Founded in 1824, the Congregation of Christ Episcopal Church is the oldest organized Christian church in Charlottesville. The congregation built the first church in Charlottesville in 1824 on the site of the present church. Thomas Jefferson subscribed to the original building fund. By 1853, a portico and columns had been added, and balconies were added to the nave. The reredos tablets of the Ten Commandments, the Lord's Prayer, and the Apostles' Creed, visible in this picture of the old church from 1874, are still prominently displayed in Mead Hall. By 1895, the growing congregation replaced the original church with a new building on the foundations of the old, and installed Tiffany glass windows to glorify God in His sanctuary. In 1929, the congregation added a carillon tower and built Mead Hall. The carillon continues to sing forth God's praise every Sunday from Christ Church, and Mead Hall is used for countless community outreach and church functions. In 1949, the Fitzhugh House was purchased, and in 1959, the present Sunday School building was constructed. In 2000, the congregation was able to purchase the Magruder House across the street from the church as a parish house. Though steeped in tradition, Christ Episcopal Church is called to continue the mission to which God has called us. For the last 5 years, the congregation has, through prayer, reflection, and discussion, listened for God's call, and has embarked on a long-range plan to further transform the church building so that we can answer that call. The Tradition and Mission campaign is the next step in realizing that transformation. We invite you to come with us into what will be the Christ Episcopal Church of the future. As you enter the new nave, you will relive your journey in faith. The first thing you will see as you enter the narthex will be light instead of darkness. This light will be produced by a new wall replacing the present one, with new glass and wooden doors into which the 4 gospel windows will be placed. The windows will glow as the light passes from the interior of the church. This symbolizes the Christian's first encounter with faith through the introduction to the gospel message. As we pass through the narthex, you will see the baptismal font. This symbolizes our entering the Christian faith through baptism. As worshipers move into the nave, it will seem much as it has for the last century. St. Anne's Chapel will still be reserved for smaller worship services and private meditation, but the pews in that part of the church will be replaced with cathedral chairs, equipped with kneelers and hymnal racks. Unlike the current fixed pews, the chairs may be rotated on Sundays or at other times to face the main sanctuary and altar. This will give those sitting in St. Anne's Chapel easier visibility and a greater sense of community. Worshippers will also notice a new exit from the nave between St. Anne's Chapel and the chancel. This will provide better access and also lead to new restroom facilities outside of Mead Hall, as well as to an enlarged sacristy for the altar guild. Jesus directed that the Lord's Supper be a central element of worship and commemoration among believers. The redesign of the chancel incorporates moving the present altar table and altar rail forward and moving the lectern and pulpit laterally so that communion may be seen and participated in more fully by everyone, regardless of where they are seated. Because worshipers will no longer be required to climb steps to reach the altar rail, participation in the Lord's Supper will no longer be as difficult for the handicapped or even for those having minor physical limitations. The new organ console will be located behind a small screen or reredos at the rear of the altar, and the choir will face the congregation. The majestic organ pipes will enhance the rose window on the back wall of the chancel, and coupled with acoustic engineering changes, will dramatically improve the quality of the music, thereby enhancing one's worship experience. The new exit from the west transept will incorporate a small elevator for handicapped parishioners so that they may exit toward Mead Hall more easily. Parishioners exiting by this route will also be able to use the new elevator or the new ramps to provide handicapped access to Mead Hall, the new kitchen, the basement classrooms, and the second floor of the church. Mead Hall will be provided with a new state-of-the-art kitchen to better provide for the Loaves and Fishes program and other parish life functions. New classrooms for children's formation classes, new restrooms, and a new library will be incorporated into the design. As you exit the nave toward the rear of the church, you will again see the 4 gospel windows as a reminder of your call to go forth into all the world and spread the gospel. Tradition and mission, building for another century, Christ Episcopal Church, old and new in Charlottesville, will continue to form Christians to serve Christ in the world.